Hello and welcome back to another episode of the DIYguy.net. Alright, today we got a 2018 Honda Pioneer 1000. We're going to be showing you how to replace the differential fluids in the front and the back. Alright, so the things we're going to need is a drain bucket or catch pan to catch the differential fluid. You may want to invest in these little Brillo pads. You can kind of cut them to size. They help with the splashing of the oil on these plastic pans. You're going to need our torque wrench, flashlight, 17mm, 10mm, about an 8-inch long extension, a ratchet, and then of course our actual fluid. Now we're using the AMSOIL transmission and differential fluid. It is a GL-5 fluid. You can use the Honda Hypoid gear oil if you want to stay with the OEM stuff. Alright, so we're going to start with the front differential. There's our skid plate. You can see our front driver side axle. Right as it goes into the diff, right there is our fill plug. Now there's two reasons we're going to do this first. We want to make sure we can actually get that fill plug off. If you ended up draining it and then you can't get that plug off, you're kind of screwed with trying to get it back full if you can't get that cap off. So if we go ahead and do that first before we drain it, we don't run into trouble. Also, it'll let the air in there so it can drain faster. So we'll go ahead and follow the axle into the differential, and like I said, right there is our fill cap. It's going to be a 17mm. We'll want that longer extension to get us out past the front skid plate here, and that ratchet, and we can go ahead and loosen it. We'll go ahead and put our pan underneath first just in case it is over full. Alright, so we removed the cap. I just wanted to show you that is the proper full level where it's just coming over the threads and out. So we want to fill it that high when we go ahead and replace the fluid. So we'll go ahead and go underneath. We'll grab the 10mm for the drain plug and start draining the differential. Alright, so if you follow your skid plate down, you will see this hole right here. That's where we're going to stick the 10mm in and start draining it. Probably want to put some rubber gloves on, just as this stuff does smell. Get it loose. Now there is a cross washer on there, so I want to be careful that we don't lose it. Alright, so it's done draining. We have the 10mm socket, our drain plug, and our cross washer back on there. We'll go ahead and start it by hand. Usually you can get 3 or 4 times out of these cross washers before they need to be replaced. Got it snug down by hand. We'll go ahead and grab our torque wrench and set it to 9 foot-pounds and torque that down. Alright, we got the drain plug in. We're going to go ahead and grab our oil and start filling the differential slowly, so we can go ahead and see when the limit rises and just starts to come over our threads, and that is going to be the proper fill level for the front differential and rear. The front should be about 11 and something ounces, but the best way is just to fill it up just till it goes over the threads, and then you'll know. With this differential fluid, you want to pour a little bit in, give it time to settle down into the bottom of the differential. Sometimes it'll spill back and you'll think it's full and it's not, so just let it settle, add more if you need to, and as you can see, ours is just coming out onto the thread, so ours is actually full inside the housing, and it's not just that we filled it quickly and it spilled out onto the threads. Next, we'll put a little dab of oil on our finger. We're going to go ahead and rub it around on the cap O-ring just to make sure it's lubricated. So we go ahead and tighten it back on. We don't end up damaging the O-ring. Then we'll reinstall the cap. Next we'll grab the 17mm and go ahead and snug it down. Grab our torque wrench and go ahead and torque it to 9 foot-pounds of torque. Alright, so now that we got the front differential filled up to the proper level, we'll go ahead and go to the rear one. Alright, so we're on the back. Here's our trailer hitch. You can see our passenger rear drive axle right there, and right inside there is our fill plug. So we'll go ahead and get that loose just like we did on the front, just in case when we run into problems we didn't actually already drain the differential. So let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So right there, it's going to be the same 17mm to go ahead and loosen that cap. So we'll go ahead and slide our drain pan under there just in case it is over full like the front. And we'll go ahead and grab that 17mm and loosen it. Get the O-ring with it. Alright, now we'll go underneath, follow our rear differential skid plate, locate that 10mm so we can go ahead and drain the rear differential. Alright, so we got the trailer hitch here, slide into the trailer hitch mount, and then right here on our differential skid plate is the hole. Right there is where we're going to stick that 10mm up and drain it. Alright, so it's finished draining. We got our bolt and our crush washer back inside our socket. We'll go ahead and stick it up through the hole and go ahead and start it back in the differential by hand. We'll go ahead and snug that up with the ratchet. Switch over to our torque wrench and torque it. Alright, so now we have the drain plug torqued. We're going to go ahead and refill the differential. So like I said, we want to go slowly. I am not squeezing the bag. I'm just letting gravity slowly bring it out and travel down the gear and settle into the bottom of the differential so we can get an accurate reading of when it's full. If you go too fast, it's just going to fill up and spill right out real quick before it has time to actually fill the differential. Alright, so you can see our oil level. It's just starting to come out the threads. So we'll go ahead and apply some new oil to our fill cap and go ahead and reinstall that. Snugged up by hand, we'll go ahead and grab the torque wrench and torque it down. So you saw us use the AMSOIL in a bag for this differential fluid. That does work okay. You have to tip it up, kind of crumple the bag to get the remaining oil out of it. They do make a little pump that goes on top of your oil container where you can just kind of pump it in like hand soap, which is a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about getting the bottle in there. It comes with a little hose. You just stick the hose in there and pump it up and fill it up. So with the front differentials full of fluid, that's it. We just shown you how to change the differential fluid on a Honda Pioneer 1000. Don't forget to click the link in the description, which will take you to our website for a full write-up. You can also click that subscribe button placed in the middle for you. On the right, you'll find a recommended video just for you. And on the left side, you'll see our recent upload. Thanks for watching another episode of the DIYguy.net.